thank you so much for this interview, especially because, I'm a big fan of the theater here, but I did not know that after all the great shows that I've seen here, that you guys actually have something very special that happens in celebrating Halloween.
Yes, every year we try to do a ghost tour, and it's put on by the EWG volunteers. So there are volunteers that do the public tours throughout the year, and we like to celebrate Halloween with a spooky ghost tour of both theaters.
Now, for folks who don't know much about this theater, I mean, this is a landmark here. Explain a little bit about the history behind the theater.
Yep. Well, we are a National Historic Site. We are over 100 years old. We opened in 1913. The unique thing about the Elgin and Winter Garden is there's two theaters. We're actually the last operating double-decker or stacked theater from the vaudeville era. So we're very happy that in the 1980s, the Ontario Heritage Trust saw the potential and saved us from demolition and came in and restored the buildings. And today, we are two operating theaters. The Winter Garden sits on top of the Elgin Theater.
Now, because of its rich history, because of its age, of course you kind of think, wow, I guess there's some ghost stories behind this. How did this whole thought come about in celebrating Halloween here?
Well, good point. I mean, yeah, after 100 years, you can imagine how many souls have walked through or been in this building. And the ghost tour came about because, since we opened from the restoration in 1989, there's been some spooky happenings here at the theater. Some of our visitors have had incidences. A lot of the people who work here have had some in the past have had some incidences with hauntings and ghost sightings and whatnot. So there were the stories. There's stories out there. There's two popular stories of the Elgin and Winter Garden of the Lavender Lady and Sam, the trombone player. So our volunteers, they do sometimes touch upon these stories when they're giving the public tours, but this is why we decided that one evening we would devote the tour to our ghosts.
Okay, I don't want to give too much away on these stories, but since I was a trombone player growing up, I have to ask you about this trombone player story.
Okay. So, the theaters opened in 1989 after the restoration. People started to hear noises when there was nobody in the building, particularly when they were walking through the Winter Garden theater. And they were wondering, what's going on? I'm hearing, is it a trombone? Is it a trumpet? We know nobody's here. So more than one person had this happen to them. So my predecessor decided one evening, along with the volunteers, to have a seance in the Winter Garden. And of course they did it at midnight, because that's when you have to do seances. And they had it right on the stage of the Winter Garden Theater. And they had a Ouija board, and they started to ask the spirits some questions, and they found out that there was indeed a gentleman by the name of Sam. He told us his name was Sam, and he was a trombone player that unfortunately met an untimely death in the Winter Garden. And so he likes to hang out, and that's why we hear sounds sometimes.
I have to ask you, though, have you seen anything since working here?
I personally have not, and I really don't want to, because you can imagine a theater is kind of spooky when there's nobody in it, and we have to walk through just during the day back and forth through the different theaters, so you can kind of scare yourself, but I personally have not had any encounters.
What are some of the things that we are going to get a chance to see in this tour? Because I can tell you right now, one of my favorite things in this place, and I hope folks get a chance to experience it, the elevator. Love the elevator.
Oh yeah, for sure. Our elevators are still manually operated, so we do have a story about the elevators and what goes on in those elevators sometimes. We will be moving so you'll come that evening. We start the tour in the Elgin Theater, and we'll move up through the building to the Winter Garden. We will show you the elevators. If you have accessibility issues, we will move you up through the elevators, but we'll walk walk everybody through the building, but there's a couple of stories happening in the elevator. We have about 30 ghost stories that we're going to tell that night. But we will also talk about the history and the restoration of the building. So you'll get a nice full tour.
I'm starting to get chills right now. Do you think we'll have maybe something happen on that day if, somebody's saying a little hello from beyond?
Well, you never know. You never know. Some people have experienced some things. I think last year one of our visitors was experiencing some things. Some people are a little more sensitive to the paranormal. And so you never know. I just know that our ghosts are playful and happy, and I like to think that they're happy that after 113, 14 years, we're still open and we're still welcoming people into the building.
Yeah, of course, they get to see free shows. So how do we get involved on this? Because I got to assume that, spots are running out real fast.
Well, it's open to everybody. You don't have to reserve. Now, it is run by our volunteers, so the one big thing that I like to stress is cash only. Ticket prices are $12 for adults, they're $10 for senior citizens and students, and that's students, either university students, college students, high school students. Just bring your ID, but it is cash only. And I know a lot of people aren't carrying cash nowadays, so please come with some cash. And I think we'll probably open the doors around 20 to 7 or so. You'll be milling about here in the lobby. We have over 34 volunteers that will be here with big buttons that say "Ask Me." So chat them up. They'll tell you some things about the building, maybe even little incidences that they may have had with some ghosts. Our gift shop will be open. We've got great books on ghost stories, where the Elgin is featured in those books. And then we will start the tour at 7 o'clock in the Elgin.
And this is happening not on Halloween, but on the 30th, correct?
Yeah, the day before Halloween, Monday, October 30th, again from 7 to 9. Please come by, just come in person, and cash only.
And for folks who want to know more information on all the great shows that are going on, as we speak, Grease is going to be coming up too. I know you got a big Christmas show that's happening. All the great shows that happened throughout 2017 and 2018. What's the website? Where do we go to get all our information?
If you just want to Google the Elgin and Winter Garden Theater Center, our website comes up. We do have our own Facebook. We're up on Facebook. It's the Elgin and Winter Garden Theater Center official site, and I have all the stuff up there. Feel free to email me on Facebook or give me a call. I'm always here to help out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Rudy. Thanks for coming.
And so looking forward to all the scary things and fun things that are going to be happening here in this beautiful theater.